Okay, Grandpa. I think we've heard enough. Tyler Knox's voice cut through the airwaves with the casual cruelty of someone who'd never been told no. His hand hovered over the disconnect button, finger poised like an executioner. Through his headphones, an elderly voice continued speaking, slow and deliberate, explaining something about radio encryption protocols during the Berlin crisis. Tyler rolled his eyes at his producer through the glass. The Veterans Call-In Hour on WKRX 98.5 FM was supposed to be good content, emotional stories, dramatic moments, the kind of stuff that went viral on social media. But this old guy had been talking for 3 minutes about technical specifications. 3 minutes was an eternity in modern radio. His audience had the attention span of goldfish. "Sir, I appreciate you calling in," Tyler interrupted, his tone dripping with false patience. "But we've got a lot of callers waiting, and frankly, you're losing everyone here. Can you get to the point?" The old voice on the other end paused. "I was just explaining how the encryption system worked." "Yeah, nobody cares about that, Pops," Tyler said, cutting him off again. His smirk widened as he glanced at the live chat on his monitor. Laughing emojis were flooding in. "This isn't a technical manual, it's entertainment. Maybe try calling a museum next time." He hit the disconnect button. WKRX 98.5 FM was the city's hottest talk radio station. Downtown in a glass and steel tower, it reached hundreds of thousands of listeners daily, and Tyler Knox was the station's golden boy. Veterans Call-In Hour had broken ratings records in 3 months. Tyler's formula was simple: drama, conflict, viral moments. Emotional stories were good, but controversy was better. Tonight's show had started well. A few veterans had already called in. Some told good stories, some cried. Perfect content. But then this old man called, and God, he was boring. Technical jargon. Complex explanations. No emotion. Tyler's listeners didn't want this. "All right, folks, next caller." Tyler leaned into his microphone, his voice energetic. "Who do we have on the line?" "Jenny from Albany." "Hey, Jenny, what are you going to tell us?" Outside the studio in the control room, his producer, Sarah, was frozen. Her phone was vibrating. A message from her husband, a retired Navy officer. "Sarah, who did Tyler just hang up on? Did you get a name?" Sarah frowned. Normally, they logged callers' names, but this time, the old man had only said Robert. No last name. Sarah shrugged, quickly texted her husband. "Don't know, he just said Robert. Why?" The response came instantly. "If it's who I think it is." "Tyler just ended his career." Sarah looked up, staring at Tyler through the glass. The young host was smiling, having a fun conversation with the next caller. He had no idea. Sarah's phone vibrated again, this time a Twitter notification, then another, then 5, then 10. Her phone froze, notifications coming so fast. With trembling fingers, she opened Twitter and froze. The first tweet was from a retired military analyst. "Did at Radio Tyler K just hang up on Colonel Robert Ashford? Colonel Robert Ashford? This can't be real." The second tweet from a technology historian. "Most disrespectful moment I've heard in broadcast history. I doubt Tyler Knox knows who he is." The third tweet was going viral. Thousands of retweets in seconds. "FYI for Tyler Knox. The boring old man you just hung up on was the Cold War's most important cryptologist, father of modern military communications, and you called him Pops." Sarah's face went pale. Her hands trembled. She opened her mic, spoke into Tyler's headphones. Tyler, we need to cut the broadcast." Tyler shook his head, signaling no. He was mid-caller. "You didn't cut." Sarah tried again, voice more urgent. Tyler, I'm serious. Now. Tyler frowned, but was professional. He kept his smile. Okay, Jenny. Thanks for listening. We're going to take a quick break, then we'll be right back. He went to commercials, turned off his mic, removed his headphones. Sarah, what's going on? The door burst open. Station owner Frank Morrison stormed in. His face was crimson, breathing ragged, phone in hand, screen flashing with hundreds of notifications. What did you do? Frank whispered, but his voice was like a roar. Tyler, what did you do? Tyler was confused. Frank never reacted like this. What? What happened? I just cut off a boring caller. Boring? Frank's voice rose. You said boring? That man was Colonel Robert Ashford. Robert Ashford. Tyler stared blankly. The name meant nothing. Frank shoved the phone in Tyler's face. Red. Tyler, trembling, took the phone. The Twitter feed was a disaster. Thousands of tweets, all about him, and all furious. Inventor of modern military encryption systems. One of the youngest directors of the NSA. Advised 3 presidents. His books are used as textbooks in universities. National Security Medal recipient. Tyler's hand shook. The phone nearly slipped. Frank gripped Tyler's shoulder hard. That man is a legend. And you called him Grandpa. You said he was boring. Live in front of thousands. I didn't know. Tyler's voice cracked. You didn't know because you didn't ask, Frank shouted. Did that man introduce himself? Did he state his credentials? No. Because he's humble. Because that's what real heroes are. And you swatted him like a fly, Sarah interjected, voice shaking. Frank, the phone lines are exploding. Retired generals are calling. Someone from the Pentagon, even... The Pentagon? Tyler's voice broke. Frank looked at Tyler one last time. Disappointment filled his eyes. Finish the broadcast, apologize, then come to my office. He turned and left, slamming the door. Tyler sat. Now the studio seemed to spin. His phone kept vibrating. His social media accounts were on fire. He'd spent 3 years building a career. And now, in 10 minutes, everything was gone. Sarah quietly approached. Tyler, what are you going to do? Tyler took a deep breath, put on his headphones, reached for his microphone. We're going live, he said quietly, and I'm going to apologize. When the commercial ended, Tyler opened his mic. His voice was different from usual. Not energetic, humble, fragile. Listeners, we're back, and I owe you a very serious apology. He paused. Just now, I was extremely disrespectful to a caller. I didn't listen. I interrupted him, and I belittled him. That caller, I've learned, was Colonel Robert Ashford. Silence in the studio. Tyler continued, voice breaking. I didn't know. That's not an excuse. I should have asked. I should have listened. But I didn't. Because I took shortcuts. I chased entertainment, not respect. Hype, not story. His voice trembled. Colonel Ashford, if you're listening, I am so sorry. The treatment I showed a man like you is unforgivable. And to my listeners, I apologize. I let you down. Tyler turned off his mic, put his head in his hands. He felt finished. But then Sarah's voice came through his headphone, shocked and hopeful. Tyler, line 4, Colonel Ashford is calling back. Tyler looked up, eyes wide. What? He wants to talk to you, on air. Tyler's heart pounded. Trembling, he opened to line 4. Colonel Ashford? His voice cracked. Sir, That familiar, calm, elderly voice returned. Not harsh, kind. Tyler, I'm not angry. Tyler held his breath. I'm disappointed, the colonel continued, but not angry, because I realized something. You didn't know, and being angry at ignorance would be unfair. Sir, I was so disrespectful to you. Yes, you were, the colonel confirmed. But you apologized, and that matters. Now the question is, what did you learn? Tyler stopped, swallowed. I learned to listen. I learned not to assume. And that respect isn't conditional. On the other end, the colonel slowly nodded. No one saw, but Tyler could hear it in his tone. Good. Then your mistake wasn't wasted. He paused. Tyler, can I tell you something? Of course, sir. Anything. I forgive you. But forgiving yourself will take longer. Allow that. Live with your mistakes. Grow from them. It'll make you a better broadcaster. Tyler's eyes filled with tears. Thank you, sir. Really, thank you. One more thing, the colonel added. If you'll allow it, I'd like to call back next week. Finish that encryption story. I hadn't gotten to the interesting part yet. Tyler laughed through tears. Sir, you can stay as long as you want. And this time I'll listen. The following week, Veterans Call-In Hour broke ratings records. Colonel Robert Ashford spoke for a full hour. Tyler didn't interrupt once. He asked questions, listened, learned, and everything changed. Tyler's show continued to go viral, but this time for the right reasons, for depth, for respect, for real stories. Months later, Tyler was at a coffee shop. An old man stood in line wearing a simple jacket and faded jeans. The man ordered, turned, saw Tyler. It was Colonel Ashford. Tyler froze, then stood. Colonel, he said with a genuine smile. Robert smiled. Tyler, how are you, son? I'm good, sir. Thanks to you. Robert nodded. Let me buy your coffee. They sat together, talked. This time there were no microphones, no listeners, just two men, a teacher and a student, over coffee. Because real respect isn't performed for an audience. It lives in silence. Robert Ashford's story reminds us the greatest lessons sometimes come from the quietest voices. Arrogance blinds us, but humility opens our eyes. Like, subscribe and share, because every veteran deserves respect. Have you ever judged someone only to learn their real story? Share your experience. We honor silent heroes. Remember, true wisdom speaks quietly,